Alright, hi everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Um, in the last one we basically got to this point. What we've gone ahead and done is glued in the other spars in there. Now if you notice, this goes through, and I've got the other piece right in here. Basically what I've done is keyed in everything like so, and push that down in right where it needs to go. Alright, we've cut out there. Now the big key to this is that when these go in together, they need to crisscross each other. Alright, so I made sure that I did that. You see how they're missing each other. That way they go all the way through. That'll get glued, and that'll create a nice strong joint for us when we go and attach everything together. So that's what's happened there. So now we're at the point where we're ready to glue everything together. So it's really important you have some sort of square. This is my square. It's just a nice square piece. Keeps everything nice and even. It's worked really well for me. But at this point, we need to peel all the paper off, because we're going to glue this together, and we don't need the paper. So we'll go through, keep the square over here, peel everything up. You notice I've put it down, show more of the edge over here. That's because we're going to use the edge again. So I want to be able to show you what we're doing on the edge. Peel this paper to the side. Sometimes this happens, we get the piece of paper. Just very carefully bring your blade over. Try not to get your finger. Take that right off. So for this point, I'm going to leave the paper on this side for now, so that as I push down and everything else, I'm not marring it up. But we are going to peel all the paper off of this other one. Let's try from this beginning over here. Should make it a little easier to peel up. And remember, this fit in really snug with all this paper. Now that we're taking a bit of this paper off, it should slot in really nice and even. And get a little bit there. And we'll just pick that right off. Everything's done in real time here, so we're going to have to deal with the peeling time, as it were. Hopefully you can hear me better now that the heater has turned off. We're now we're always been in a garage, but you know, the heating unit is out here. So when it turns on, we get all the noise. Try to peel this up. Excellent. There we go. Couple more little pieces hanging on. Sorry about that. Again, you know, this is just to show everybody's got, we're going to have little problems and things to have to deal with when we're putting these together. This is part of it, right? So we're going to show it. There we go. Almost. All right. A little static there holding everything down. So because we got this, we're not going to be able to. You see how that slots in a lot nicer. So we're just test fitting again, making sure everything's the way we like. And I do. I like it. Again, we're off the edge of the table because this little piece of the spar goes down through. All right. Happy with that. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take our hot glue gun and we're going to glue down. A good thick bead just in between all of these. Just like that. And then quickly place our piece in. Making sure everything keys in. Excellent. Move that over as much as we can. Take our square, make sure that we are square and flat down. So we're going to add a weight just to make sure it's nice and square. I'll move back here. Fairly square. Yep, good and square. We're just going to hold this, pressing down. Make sure everything's down. And we're getting, bleed over, which is fine. We're going to go through and we're going to clean that up. And I'll show you how that's done. But for right now, we're just holding, trying not to tweak like I just did there. Just pushing down. That's why it was tweaking. I was actually had that pressing against the table, which wasn't good. So that keys it in a little nicer now. And this will all clean up once we put the other piece on. Still a little tacky. We're going to let that sit for a good amount of time. Then check our square. And we're good and square. Gotta like that. It's really important to just let this cool down and dry because we're putting glue on the other side and everything else. I want this to be set and not move on us. So, and again, when we do this, we're going to be flipping this whole thing over so that this now hangs off the table, which is why it's very important to have, the edge here to let this hang off of so that you can glue and then put in our second piece. So while this is dry, we're going to go ahead, take this opportunity and peel our other piece here. And just get ready. Come on. So along with the crossing that you see there, part of what I did was I did take a little bit off of that to allow for the spar to go through it. Oop. Okay, this is, you have to be real gentle. What happened here is I pulled this and I bent that piece. So that's because we've gone through. So just no big deal. It's off. We're going to deal with that and glue that on as a separate piece. So things like this can happen. Don't let it freak you out. It's okay. That little piece anyways is not necessarily very structural in the whole scheme of things. But it is where we'll be dragging. And in that area anyways, I like to put a little extra glue down on the bottom, maybe even a little tape where it drags down at the bottom so that second here, so that it's protected. Alright, so this should be plenty dry, holding really nice. We're nice and square as I visually look down it. So now we come in and we're off the edge here. So I'm going to use this to hold that. We're going to have to peel our paper from this side. We'll just go ahead and let that tear. Get rid of our paper. Just tearing the paper off. Okay. So we got here is a little bit of glue, hot glue that came through. Not a big deal. Alright, straight on off. Alright, last little bits. Alright. Checking everything. Test fit our piece just to make sure we don't have any issues. You see how it just slots in nicely now. Alright. Yeah, that's looking good. Excellent. I'm going to put this weight down to ensure that it doesn't slide off our table. And at this point, we just go straight on down. Make sure you got enough glue in your gun when you're doing this. You see I'm hitting the feet because I'm gluing everything together. So this is one big long line here. I'm going to stop a little bit at the tail there because we got that piece that we got to put in. And we'll start pushing in our keys. Straight on down. Gotta get that on the other side. There we go. Just squishing everything down flat, making sure we're good. Check our square. A little off the square. That's fine. We'll go ahead and move it. Get it into square. Bottom here. Looking good. Get that top in the square. Let that sit. We'll grab our extra little piece here. Check our fit. I'm just pressing this down a little bit. We're a little off, but not bad. I just want to get that piece to sit. Yeah, that's going to fit nice. We'll hit that after all this dries. Making sure again everything is squared. Still doing good. Yep. Just gonna let that dry. Press down, all the feet look good. Everything's down in. That's good and dry. It's still a little sticky, but I think we'll be okay for now. Pick this up off. Excellent. Now we're gonna rest this. I thought so, but pull it up. Rest this on there so we can get in and glue our final little piece in. Double checking everything. Real nice, slots in. It looks like this didn't fully sit down. We're doing is just heating this up a little bit. Gotta be real careful that we don't overheat the foam too much. Just pressing that down. There we go. Hold that in. Alright, put our hot glue in there, hot glue down here, and glue our piece in, like so. Make sure that we're sitting happy. Watch that, put our piece back in, make sure that that's all square. Not bad. Not bad at all. Alright. Get another glue stick ready. We're going to need this. So part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a healthy bead right down here. And what I do is bring that back and we're going to spread this evenly just like this. Just using the tip to get plenty of glue down in, especially at this joint. It's a place that we really want to make sure we got plenty of glue, because that's going to hold it steady and straight, right? A little extra over here, it's going to take that right off. There we go. And anything that you don't like, I've shown in my other videos, you know, if you don't quite like that, it's a little not smooth enough, we just run it down like that. That'll smooth that all down. Continuing on, just laying a bead off there, down. We'll stop, we'll come back through, we'll smooth it. This creates a nice, strong joint where we've connected everything. Doesn't have to look pretty, it's alright. Just want it to fill in there. Continuing along. I like to do this in just shallow things. You know, don't have to do the whole length. Just gotta get the whole thing eventually. Straight on down. It's just gonna strengthen our model, right? It adds weight. Yes, it does. No doubt about it. But securing those joints like that is really the main thing. We want to make sure we're nice and secure. We're going to let that cool, and then we're going to turn it over, and we're going to do the same thing down here, and then we're going to do the sides. But the key here is we need to let this cool in between, because while we're spreading that hot glue, we need these other sides to remain as cool as possible, because if they heat up, everything starts to move. We don't want that, right? So you also heard me say that we're going to bevel this edge. And we haven't done that right now, because what we're going to do is come over like this, and we're going to lightly sand it so that it's even to itself, right? I could sit and just bevel it with a knife, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be the right angle for this. And of course, the glue will fill in and whatever. So that is obviously an option. But I like to just do it while I'm here, you know, and get it pretty close to where it's going to be. So along with everything else, as I'm doing stuff, one of the other things we're going to do is we're going to take, hopefully I've got enough to make it happen. Just run a little bead across here, stopping for the end. We'll take a piece of foam, and we're just going to smooth that out, just like that. You can also come back across and just heat and clean this edge up, because again, this is our flight surface, and you know, we want to try to make it as smooth as possible. There we go, not smoothing out. But again, this is not a full size. And you don't have to do that. I like to do it because we basically pressed in to this foam. The other way, and it'll help smooth this out, is placing a piece of tape across it. And I will do that after. I just like to have a little bit of the hot glue in there too. And then we'll put a piece of tape over that. And that'll smooth that surface over so we don't have any bumps and anything else. Oh, got a little glue strings. But there we are. You know, putting this carbon fiber back here, yeah, it creates the strength that we need, you know. You can see the tail gets a little bit of flex, but not a whole lot. That's just, unfortunately, the nature of it. When we take the paper off, right, we lose that little bit of strength. So we'll be figuring that out too as we go along. Probably lay some tape in here. That's going to help with that kind of thing too. So probably going to be a little flexi frame. Not a big deal. I'm okay with it. Anyways, there we go. We're at this point, and you know, everything's an experiment, right? So if this frame tends to be a little bit flexy because of that, we might come back, revisit this, and leave the paper on and just go with that so that it's a little stiffer, doesn't tweak so much. Was not expecting it to be so tweaky. Matter of fact, let's go revisit our prototype here, and as you can see, with that paper on, boy, it's really not moving. So maybe we go back and we revisit this, grab an extra sheet, and we're going to recut everything. This prototype down here. I think that's exactly what we're going to do, because That's just too flexible, right? You can see how it flexes. You know, it's the rolling back and forth that I don't like. I mean, I could probably grab up here. Got a couple more pieces of carbon fiber. You know, probably put that in there, but we're not getting the flex up and down. You know, we're getting a rolling, and I don't know that putting that carbon fiber in there is really gonna stop that rolling. And at what weight, right? So let's turn that on. Let it 3 grams worth of weight. Maybe. We're going to think this over and sleep on it and revisit this. So, like I said, you get to be along on this journey no matter what it is, right? It's going to cure a lot of problems if I keep that paper on like this. You know, where I got that little break. Obviously, we won't have that. The surfaces as they move along, you see how they'll up. We're never going to use more than that for sure, and down, but it cups, which is nice, so that'll really go up. Probably only have that much deflection in it, so that's again one of the reasons why if we had gone all the way down here and not come up, we would not be able to get that up deflection. So little things to keep in mind as you're doing your piece. So, well, that's it. You know, like I always say, go make it. You can do it. We deal with all the issues as we go along. Obviously, when we take the paper off, things get flimsy. So we've gotten to this point. I think what's going to happen in the next one is I don't want to use the carbon fiber in the tail. I want to try to keep things as balanced as possible, right? So, you know, while leaving the paper on is going to leave more weight back here, it's also going to leave more weight here. And that's our balancing, right? That's the whole key to this. I mean, I've added that carbon fiber, and now it's tail heavy up to about here. Anyways, yeah, we're going to revisit this. So here's the video here. You see what happens. Too flexible. That tail's not going to do anything other than flutter in the wind as we're going along. We'll have no control whatsoever. So now that we understand that, I will go ahead, take another sheet. We'll retrace our pattern. I will cut out a new section like this. We'll get this carbon fiber out of the tail because we'll use that. Actually, we may not need to use that in the new one. We'll see. But that's it. This is, again, not a big deal. This is one sheet of foam. Not a huge deal in any way, shape, or form that we're going to scrap this and make a new one, right? So we've learned. Hopefully you've learned too. We're having fun. We're doing this together. Go make it. You can do it. Have a lot of fun. And we'll see you in the next video.